Basically, Monday, episode 32. You guys know what that means. You can officially listen to this for a whole month over the lunch hour. So I think that makes us like a for real serious broadcast. And for a real
That's
serious
official.
podcast, you need real serious hosts. So I'm here with Valero and John. Valero, how are you
Hey,
today?
oh man, good as ever, good as can be.
Yeah, the viewers can't, I mean, the listeners can't see, but you're wearing a very um what should I say? It's a very delightful like cat t-shirt. So yeah.
This is
Uh,
hilarious. Yeah, I have. That's so funny that you like say this. I'm pretty sure my wife hates this shirt, but she's like, I think come to accept it, like that. This is just in my wardrobe for some reason. But
so like I mean, well,
it's like
sorry.
a shirt
So
like with like a cat. It's just like a cat like with lasers like coming out of its eyes. And like that's basically it. Like it's got a little wave in the background. But
Yeah,
yeah.
what's the wave for? I thought it was like
Oh,
surfing
for
at first.
Majesty.
yeah, it is surfing. Yeah, you're right. So it's a surfing
Oh,
cat
okay.
with lasers coming out of its eyes.
All right, it is
And
surfing.
yeah,
So you just found
that's
that out today that it's a surfing cat.
I guess I never really noticed that. I just like it's a cat with lasers coming out of its eyes. Like that always took like all the attention. Yeah, I never noticed that. It's a
All right,
surfing cat.
so for anyone who like ends up searching for that shirt, use our affiliate link. It's basically money sells out 2023.
It's
Um,
Yeah.
basically money.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
basically
what the
It's
money.
fuck?
basically money.
Uh,
Oh man.
so yeah, it's basically money and it's basically John. So how you
Yep.
doing today?
Um, yeah, I'm pretty good. It's been a long, what, 2 weeks since we last did this? It's been a long 2 weeks. But yeah,
Yeah,
As
it
in
does.
like you've been dying to talk to us, or a lot of stuff has been going on?
yeah, I wouldn't say dying to talk to you, but
Okay.
but to be fair, only because I've actually talked to you guys before, so we keep up pretty regularly. But yeah, just a lot has been going on. We bought a car. The first school semester ended, so yeah, I was just busy, and now I've got time, which is nice. So I've been able to like hang out with the family more. So yeah, just a lot going on, but all
Yeah,
good
Ah,
man.
stuff.
yeah,
Busy,
moving and grooving. So,
busy adult
Valero,
life.
I wanted to go back to you for a second. So, the first time your wife saw you wearing that shirt, can you like tell me about that? Like, do
I,
you remember enough to like lay out the entire scene?
I definitely don't remember enough to lay out the scene, but I can almost like guarantee that like she was probably had like a disgusted look on her face and was like surprised that like I even had a shirt like this, like I'm sure. Or maybe not surprised, but like more surprised than like she she thought I would assume. But yeah, I just remember like she's like, she probably was just like, "What is with that shirt? Like, that's a terrible shirt." And then I probably just laughed it off, and be like, "Yeah, I don't know. It's just something I wear around the house." And then like I probably started wearing it like outside of the house at certain points. And then I'm pretty sure I remember like I don't remember if I don't know if I remember specifically, but I'm like 90% sure there's been a couple times where she's like we were about to walk into the house and she's like, "Oh wait, like no, you got to change your shirt. Like you can't go out of the house with me like that." And I was like, "Okay, that's fair enough." Yeah, it's a completely absurd shirt, but I feel like that's kind of why I like it.
So, I guess you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but let's say that you and your wife are invited to a business luncheon next Wednesday. Who's picking your outfit? Is it
Oh,
you or your
she's
wife?
she's picking it 100%,
Oh,
and I want
okay.
her to like so like that's perfect. Like yeah, I do not want to play the guessing game of like how I'm like yeah, fashion is not my thing. Like I mean, as you can see, I'm wearing this shirt. Like
Dude,
that's exactly it.
I think it's fashionable. That's stuff like that is totally in right now, actually.
Yeah, that's true. I like it's in, but like yeah, we're old. Do you wear stuff that's in to a business meeting? Or do you just wear like normal business attire?
I don't go out, so I don't have to wear in anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I really don't go anywhere either. Like this, I've had this shirt for 10 years. And you know, like, what's funny about this shirt is like I don't have any other shirt that's this ridiculous or even like cat themed. And I would never buy myself a cat themed shirt. Like but like my ex's family, like it was like her older sister bought this for me. And I don't know to this day if it was like a joke or like if they legitimately thought I would like this shirt because like they just didn't understand me at all. So like but they knew I liked cats. So they're just like, oh, cats must be like everything for him. But I was just like, it's not true, but whatever. Yeah, what do you want to talk about cats then? And then yeah, one day they got me this shirt, and I was just like, wow. Like, and I have no idea. They also bought me like a blanket with like trucks and my name on it before. Like, I like, what the fuck is that? Like, like, it was clearly for children. Like, I don't know if I had my name on it, but it was like a blanket with like trucks. I've like toy trucks. So I don't know.
And when you used it last night, is it still like in good condition or what?
No, that blanket, I'm pretty sure I gave it to the cats at some point, and then eventually I threw it away because it just got too like gross.
Okay. So John, do you has there ever been a time you wore something and your wife was like, "What the fuck is that?"
No, no.
Yeah, I can't imagine that happening.
I think it's more likely for me
Yeah,
to
I
tell
can't
her
either.
that than her to tell me that.
All right, really? Have you ever actually done that? Like, can you remember a time? You can
I've
just say yes
never
or no.
I, I've never done that with an outfit, but like, I've told her before, like jokingly, that if we were going somewhere and like her hair was all messed up and she didn't know it, like, yeah, I'm gonna be like, what's going on with your head? And like, I
Damn.
want you to
Okay.
do the same thing for me. Like, and I think she's done that before. I think I'm just more likely to say it, but I don't know. Maybe she feels comfortable enough now, and where her and I'd be equally likely at this point.
So what if she wanted to wear this cat t-shirt out to like a business meeting with like yeah, like what if for
A
some reason
business meeting.
the people like in that you work with
What
like
is
for
this meeting?
some reason like had like for some reason we're coming by your town and like stopping in your town to like eat and it's like hey come meet us for the first time and like just real quick and bring your wife and she like wore this t-shirt, would you allow that to happen?
Yeah, you're going out to eat. Like, why do I need to be formal for that? I would wear a t-shirt.
Would you wear this t-shirt?
Well, I don't think I would wear that t-shirt at all, just because I can't see myself wearing that t-shirt.
Like
It's
what
just
the
not
fuck
for
is
me.
that thing?
Yeah, that's just not for
Oh
me.
my god.
It's not a matter of like, would I be afraid of other people seeing it? I just don't like it. Because
That's
it's
so
too
funny.
distracting. Like then I'm wondering what the fuck's going on and who made this shirt like this and why while I'm wearing it.
Completely.
Like I don't want to have that kind of debate in my own head with my clothes. That's too much
Yeah, and
brain
honestly, I
power.
forget like when I'm wearing this shirt, like that's what it gives off. Because I don't really like wearing like it outside of the house either. Like, so when she tells me like, "Oh, you gotta change," I'm just like, "Oh shit!" Like you're completely right about that. Like I definitely do have to change. But like if I'm just like going like to the store like by myself, then like I guess I wouldn't care. But if I
Sure.
was going to a business meeting or meeting anyone for the first time, I would not want to wear this shirt.
Like
Because
what
then
are
they're
you
gonna
trying
be
to
like, okay,
say?
you must be obsessed with cats then.
Yeah,
Like,
like
but
what are
it's
you
just
trying
like,
to say with the shirt? Like that you love cats or you think they're the devil? Which one is it? And then why is it surfing? I don't understand. It just there's just too many there's more questions than
I have no
answers.
idea. Right? This is like all the questions they are asking right now is exactly what I was asking for like the moment they showed me that shirt. It was like for a Christmas present and like they opened it up in front of everyone. And I'm just like, oh, like, and that was just like my gift for the year. Like, it made no sense. Like I just yeah, and I'm pretty sure they thought it was because like it was they got it for me because they thought I really like was obsessed with cats. I'm just like,
Were
well, all
they
right.
or are they around?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're wrong to a degree because they thought that's all there was to me. Like, I was just this guy who only did stuff with cats and talked about cats and only knew about cats. But I'm just like, I have no idea. Like just like I have a cat and like they also had a cat, so maybe it's just something we had in common.
Is that
Like, all
is
right,
that
that's
like
everything.
the worst someone has like misrepresented you in their mind and like made it like known to you that they had no idea who you were?
I feel like that was the most blatant for me because like I was with her for like 3 years and they were like that the entire time. And I saw their family like twice a week. And
Oh
like
yeah.
at the end of the 3 years, the only thing they knew about me was that like I liked cats. And like I wasn't obsessed with cats, but they thought like there's like, yep, that's everything. That's his entire personality. And I'm just like,
Man,
oh man.
you're a good person. That's a lot of time to just donate
Really, they just
and
didn't
them to
know.
not even show you like any kind of like I don't know, care or like courtesy.
What it sounds like
Oh,
is they just really didn't know
that's
you, and
awesome.
like someone was like, "Yeah, what do we get him?" And they're like, "I don't know. I don't even know what he really likes." They're like, "He likes cats." All right. Like that's probably what happened. Like they
Oh
probably just
my
knew
God.
so little. They're just like, "That's all we have." So
The blanket with kids trucks on it though, like
yeah,
that's
that's
like
weird.
I
Well, I think they just probably
yeah.
liked the blanket. Maybe they themselves liked it, so they're just like, "Here you go. You'll like this."
No, did anyone else get a baby blanket? I
No,
don't think so.
not at all. Like other
Yeah.
people were getting like normal stuff, and like same with this. I'm just like, this is so weird. Like
Like we were
I
all
don't
like
know.
20-year-old like young adults. You probably could have got like a bottle of vodka and you'd be like plenty happy with that. And yet
Yeah,
they gave you a
definitely.
baby blanket.
Yeah,
Mm.
baby blanket. Like what? That was so weird. There's like, well, I'm pretty sure you said you like cars and stuff because like you have one, don't you? So like we thought you might like this. I'm like, what? Like that doesn't even make sense, but like, okay, whatever. I'm done. Like I accepted it with a smile and act like I loved it and like that was it. Immediately gave it to Cookie when I got home. I was like, here you go, Cookie. Something to snuggle with.
Do you have a clear worst gift you've ever received, John?
um, no. If I can't, if I have to think about it, then no.
Yeah, same. That yeah. Luckily that's never happened to me.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
don't
would
even
say
know
just
how I
both
would handle
you.
it.
Oh my God. I feel like I honestly wanted to just be like shaking my head with a complete straight face like most of the time I was with them. Just like literally like slowly dying inside. But like I'm pretty sure I did a good job with like not doing that or looking too unhappy. But yeah, we obviously didn't work out and like that was definitely a big reason why. So like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that.
Yeah. So, did you guys hear that Robert De Niro had a kid like a month ago?
Robert De Niro. Oh yeah, that's right. I heard like he was gonna have a kid and now he did. He's like 80.
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
What's the oldest dad you guys have ever
Yeah,
like
I remember.
known personally?
Um, I probably had classmates that had maybe in the 50s, like when they were in grade school. So they were probably had the kid in their 40s, maybe. I don't know.
Interesting. I want to like ask like how old this person's dad was, but I don't want to like name drop him right here. So I guess that's useless. I'm like, but like there was like okay at our school there was like these three Italian girls, and I'm pretty sure like their parents were like the oldest I knew of. I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember how
Right?
old they were. I just remember thinking like, oh, like that's way older than my parents.
He didn't seem like that old.
No, he didn't. But yeah, I don't remember the
I've
age.
got
So
no idea
like,
who
and
it
then
is.
there's this other guy, um, that I can't name drop, that I can't describe, but like uh, he said his dad I think I asked him about it once. And he said he barely ever knew his dad because his dad was like super old, so he died like when he was like really young. And so like I don't know his dad personally, but like I know him personally, and like that sounds pretty old. Like it was like before he was 5, like that's when his dad died. Like maybe even younger, like before he was 3, because he said he has like almost like I don't remember him telling me that he has any memories about his dad, but
Yeah. So obviously, like for women, there is a cutoff where they like just can't have kids anymore. Do you do you think it necessarily matters for guys? Like, do you think there should be an equal cutoff date to have children? Like, do you
yeah, I
think
feel
it
like you
fair
should.
to the
I
family to to know that
yeah.
you're gonna die?
Yeah, like in like 2 seconds, like yeah. I feel like you have to at least make it to 20, 22, 21,
Yeah,
their first
I would have
drink.
said 18.
I would say 18 is like so minimal, but like yeah, I would say like get them through college and like once that's done, then like your duty's done. And if they don't want to go through college, then like at least yeah, maybe to drinking age, so you can see what they're like fucked up. Be like, yeah, that's just like me, and then like then you can go. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
god.
say 22. That's yeah. If you think you're gonna die in less than 22 years, you shouldn't have a kid.
All right, so 50, just like you said, John. That's the cutoff for guys.
Wait, 50?
Yeah, if you have a kid at 50 and you're alive for 20 more years, then you've done your duty and you can die apparently.
I think you could probably do that at 60 nowadays if you take care of yourself.
Yeah, isn't the life expectancy like what is it these days? Is it 78 or 76?
I think it's lower than that.
Yeah, ever since 2020, it's like 59.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna die soon. It's 77. So basically 55. Yeah, that's the cutoff age.
55, yeah, that's pretty old.
Yeah,
That
that
Okay.
is.
that's average. I think you could do better than that. Like that's a 77 is including
Right.
all of the like terribly in like out of shape people and like in the US that number's just climbing and somehow we're still living that long. So, yeah, like if you take care of yourself reasonably, you could probably get to 80, 85.
Yeah.
Where, where do you guys think people are like living the longest on the globe right now?
I think I heard it was like
Um,
Greek or this island in Greece where they
yeah, I
just
don't
like
know.
eat salmon and eat greens all day. Like they all like that life expectancies. Like I remember I was watching a video about it, and the life expectancy is so like high that like everyone there is like older than like 80. Like the youngest people in the town are like upper 70s and 80s, and it's just like and they're like super young and healthy and like taking care of the older people who are like 20 or 30 years older than them. I'm just like, holy crap.
So they're going extinct then.
Yeah, what?
That
I
like that
mean,
literally can't be possible and them still be around. That's not.
yeah. That's what was happening. I mean, like, yeah, because no one's moving out of their house and it was an island. So, like, how are new families gonna move in? That kind of, I guess it kind of makes sense.
But if everyone there's 70, they can't have any kids.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, everyone there has already had their kids for the last,
So it's not
like,
really a
60
town.
years.
It's a retirement home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it started out as a town, but now
I
everyone's so
feel like
old, it's just a retirement
yeah,
home.
okay, yeah. Like we have to reclassify it. The moment the area you live lacks the capacity to replicate itself, it's no longer a town. Like it shouldn't get that qualification, I feel like.
I mean, yeah,
Really?
eventually these guys
Yeah.
should die out, and then
Hmm.
it should go back to a town qualification again.
Yeah. Is a
What
town
if it
is a town just a place people live? I feel like there has to be some expectancy of longevity.
Okay, what if it's like a town up in the Himalayas, but it's all like monks, and like they get more people by recruiting like
Yeah, but
more monks?
they can get recruits, right? So like if that would count to me because like they can have new younger people replace them.
Okay, so as long as you can replenish the youth, then you're
Yeah.
town worthy.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think that actually kind of works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I think that does kind of make sense.
Yeah, you gotta have
But I
someone to
mean,
run the town.
you can't take away their township yet because like
I'm taking it.
they should go back like
No, you gotta take
I gotta
it.
take it that shit,
to
man.
usefulness once they finally die off.
Give me that
Like
township.
their
Yeah.
80-year-olds are like still like going out on like the fishing boats like in the ocean and stuff and
There's
like
not a
staying out for
single
like days at a time.
OBGYN on that entire island.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
literally,
one.
and there's like no doctors. There's like no civilization. There's like, yeah, every day I go out with my fishing pole, catch a salmon. Like I come home, my wife makes like us like this delicious salad made of fresh greens and tomatoes that we grew in our backyard. And then
That's insane. Why why would the salmon like just keep coming back if like for generation after generation like they've been like killed in that same spot?
Salmon aren't that smart.
yeah, I guess they're just not that smart. Yeah.
They move in schools, man. They just go they pick a route and that's the route they go.
We do the
Now,
same thing.
yeah, that's why some of us don't make it. Just like the salmon.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
No. All right, you got
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, we we aren't far off from nature, that's for sure.
That's true. Like in Russia, they tell all their young people that they have to go to Ukraine and run face first with a shovel into like a machine gun. Like you just have no choice. Like that's just what you do. Like so, like some outsiders, I'm sure would look at that. Like, look at these humans just like throwing themselves at machine guns. Like, who would ever do like agree to do something so stupid?
Man, that's
But
pretty
yet it
good. I
happens.
didn't know that they were getting shovels now. It's an upgrade.
Yeah, yeah. I think they upgraded from potatoes to shovels.
Oh my God. Yeah. Things are I don't think going very well. Well, I mean like how well can things ever go in war? But yeah. I don't know. Have we ever even talked about that on the show? Is it worth talking about?
Dude, we've talked about it a
I
couple
think we
times.
talked about
Yeah.
it like a month ago or something. Yeah, yeah, because we talked about the pre-coup.
That wasn't Ukrainian though, was it?
I mean, it was like
Where was that at again?
involved.
Dude,
It,
see, this is
it
this
was
is
in Russia. Remember the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Prigozhin's
Yeah,
coup?
Prigozhin, yeah, the
Yeah,
pre-coup.
but he
Yeah.
did it too early, so it was just a pre-coup. It wasn't a real coup.
Didn't he disappear and just long enough for them to like make the clone?
Yeah,
They can parade
yeah,
him out.
they totally made a clone of that guy. Yeah, that makes so much more sense. There's like, yeah, they had a meeting 5 days after that. Like bullshit. Like he disappeared and then you cloned him and that's when the clone was ready. It was like, okay, here he is.
Yeah, that's pretty that's pretty insane. Uh I mean if they can clone people then there should be towns all over. Like, just make more young people.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, obviously they can't clone people then, or at least they're not doing it.
No
They probably
clones.
can do it, but they're just not doing it. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But you still need like a woman to like birth a clone, I'm pretty sure at this point.
True. We have not yet built uh an outside sack.
Yeah, like a growth vat.
Yeah.
That'll be something.
Actually, I think we're kind of close because they figured out how to do that just for like plain meat, just to like grow like a mass of
Oh
like
yeah.
muscle tissue or fibers, and they have now successfully like taken cells from a mouse and reverted it back to like a stem cell stage and then like manipulated the cell to turn into like whatever they wanted. So they turned
Wow.
like a hair cell into like an egg. And then they turn like another cell into like a sperm. And then they like use those two and then put it in into
Holy
into
shit.
a rat and then like yeah, it worked. It gave birth.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't that wild?
that's
Like we're
definitely
coming to the
wild.
point where now if anyone can get like I'm not saying this is true, but potentially if someone could get a hold of your DNA, they
Yeah.
could like make like your child like without
I
your
just
consent.
assume that already exists. I just assume that like the capacity of the government is at least one or two steps removed from what they're willing to let me know. Like I can't reasonably accept that a government that can expect to keep power over its citizens would tell it every scientific breakthrough that it has. I just don't
Mhm.
believe that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's probably already possible. And
Yeah.
there's probably no way we'd ever know unless like someone actually wanted us to know.
I just I'm wondering what would be the use case for that? Why would you want that to be an option?
Clones.
Yeah, I thought people were worried about how many people we have like right now. Why are you trying to make like clones?
Well, it's just easy. You could like if you used them as soldiers, like, and you were able to modify behavior, then they're basically just like bodies, free bodies.
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
just looked it up. You can clone your pet. Like you just send them like some hair or some DNA, and then they can use that to clone you. Right, clone your pet right now. Like that's a thing. It costs like $30,000, but they'll do it.
Oh
So if
my
they could do
God.
it with a pet, that means they can 100% do it with a person. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they still need like it doesn't say exactly how it's done, but like yeah, I'm pretty sure they still like put the egg or whatever in like a live cat, and then that cat gives birth to it. But then you still have a clone, like that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure we want to do that, but we've had the clone conversation plenty of times. So,
A clone. Yeah, what if instead of just having a kid, you could just have a kid that's just a clone of yourself? Then you don't have to
yeah.
get married or anything. I mean, you can, but you
Yeah,
could just
we've
be like,
totally.
oh,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
screw
talked.
I
Yeah,
that.
we
would do
talked
that.
about this exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about that. That would be my first option. And I
I
guess it's
mean,
going to be true eventually.
yeah. But they say though, I when I was looking it up, when you clone your pets, they don't end up with the same personality. Like they might, like by chance, but like there's a good chance they'll be a different personality, it says. So that's kind of weird. Like, could you imagine a different, like a person who looked exactly like you but acted completely different?
I mean,
Yeah.
you should expect that because like they can't be you without your experiences, unless there's just no way for that. All they can really guarantee is they're going to look like you because they're only copying your production up to being born. So they can't. There's nothing else they can do, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Then that, if that were completely true, then that would definitely mean that the person you are is made from your experiences, not just from your DNA.
Yeah.
If you could think about like your last month, both of you, like just in a general sense, if you went back and did the complete opposite of all the decisions that you made, how different like would your life look right now, if different at all?
Um, I'd be like super broke and I'd probably be like out at the bars right now, getting shit faced.
Just from the last
So that
month of decisions?
that
Jesus
that's, so
Christ.
those are like that's the complete opposite of the decisions you you did make.
Yeah.
Your complete opposite is having cash in your pocket and sobriety.
N- That's the opposite. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's how
Okay.
I've spent the most, like obtaining cash and not being, yeah, and being sober. So
Okay.
the opposite of that would be
Okay.
having no money and then just being out at the bars all the time because that's definitely where I'm not all the time.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but like, do you think that's like in the realm of possibility for you?
I mean, like, kinda, yeah. Like in like at other times of my life, but like right now, I'm like pretty focused on like what I'm trying to do. So like, yeah, I'm just trying to like, yeah, I'm just trying to like focus, make some money, raise a family, and yeah, like do every. I feel like everything else I want to do in life, I need money. So I'm like, all right, let me just do this money part real quick.
So even if you did like the opposite, you would still be you though, right? I mean, Like you said, like there's been times in your life where you did that, and I knew you, and you're like still the same person.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I guess you'd still be.
It depends on how you're defining you. Are you defining you as every experience you've ever had up until every second like of your life, or is there a point in which you would classify Valero as a being, and then other outside things aren't going to necessarily change him? I feel like it's closer to the first one. Like, yeah, a month you wouldn't notice any changes if like a month of his uh, choices were different. You could probably still talk to him and like you would get the same answers that you'd expect. But yeah, his life would probably look a little different. So like, it's just how
Yeah.
far do you go back before that actually changes, where you'd say, yeah, you're a completely different person now.
Just by making the opposite decision.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I
Hmm.
feel like, well, I don't know. I'm not like the
It's
different
still
person, but
you.
right, I
It's
guess
just a
I might
different
think
you.
differently. Yeah.
Because that would still be
Like,
you, just the you that made a different choice.
yeah, like when I get like my rent or like mortgage bill in the mail, and if I do the opposite of what I'm doing, that means I'm not paying that shit, and I'm gonna lose my, and I'm gonna lose this house or whatever. So I'm gonna live somewhere a lot smaller
But
and make a lot less money.
if you didn't pay like your rent or your mortgage, and you just had all that money, then that means you would spend it on something else. So then you're saying you would spend it on like going to the bars.
Yeah.
What if
Yeah,
you
if we're
did?
just
I feel like you might do something like super risky with it, but not like going to the bars, but like some kind of like idea that you've been like hesitant to go all in on because you were deciding to be responsible.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that would be like an opposite of choosing to do something, I guess. Well, like if I chose to not do something like that, I was hesitant on the line, then like the opposite of that would be like, yeah, going all in. Okay, well then yeah, you're right. I guess like instead of going to the bars, actually no, I would still be going to the bars, but that's only because I lost all my money in the stock market. Like on like a call that was gonna expire in 15 minutes at the end of like the day on Friday. I'm like YOLO, and then like just lose it all. I'll be like, fuck, man, like I gotta go to the bars now, because that's the only place I
You
can
could
drink my
win.
sorrows away. That's true. Maybe that life is like I actually win and I make it, and like it works, and I hit gold.
Is
But then
that
if
what
I
people? Is that what people
Okay.
call it? Do they say I won today? I'm pretty sure. Is there like a better term I should use? Something fiduciary?
I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I don't really see too many people like post like their wins on Wall Street bets anymore. They're more like posting their losses and then like cuck shaming each other.
Like,
That's because most people lose.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you're doing good, you wouldn't be dumb enough to give away your secrets or like post what you've been doing. Unless like you're the one who's like manipulating the market and be like, as soon as I post this, everyone's gonna buy it and then I'm gonna sell it. And be like, whoa, you just missed it, guys. You should have got in when I first posted. Like, no, that's bullshit. But like, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, the
Isn't
only
that
strategies
illegal?
that work are the ones that people rarely do. Because the moment a vast amount of people start doing it, it stops working.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, which basically means that like all those like YouTube stock people where it's like my three like and fucking who's the guy on CNBC, the bald guy, Jim Cramer. Like all of them.
He's always been
Is
Like
he
terrible.
is he still
yeah,
yelling?
yeah, he still has a show somehow. Like,
Like, but I mean, is that still his thing?
yeah, he's gotten a little bit
I feel like
he's
that's so
older
played
now, so
out.
he's a little like calmer, but like yeah, he still is yelling.
I feel like that's everyone's thing. Like, if you are like an influencer or online, like you're yelling and like just being like over the top, like
Ah,
emotion.
kill me.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Like you have to do a line of coke right before you get on. You're like,
They
okay,
might
guys.
actually, yeah, that might be what's actually happening.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
So, have you guys heard? about that whole business with Bud Light like tanking and like it's no longer a viable like brand just because of that one decision that they made. Do you guys have any opinions about that?
It's no longer a viable brand. Are they really tanking? Like, for real?
Yeah,
Well,
they
like
lost. They lost a lot of money.
they
Yeah,
were idiots. They
they misjudged
they
their base
I
not
drastically.
figured you
only
guys
did
would
they
have like
misjudge their base, but they ostracized both sides. Like they had the trans person, and then all like the left side like was like, "Yeah, Bud Light's cool. Like let's support them." And then like there's like, "Oh wait, we're losing all the right wingers." And then they went back and we say, "We don't support or condone any of this." And by that time, it was too late. They already lost all the right wingers, and now
But
they've
the
gone
right,
back and
the
like,
craziest thing is the right wingers are the majority of their base. Like, I don't understand how they could have not knew that before they did that. Like, how is it possible to not know that as a company?
yeah, that is
Like,
kind of interesting. I feel
why
like
were
that
you
is kind of a
thinking,
big deal.
and why were you thinking people who were like let's just assume you thought all the trans people drank Bud Light. First of all, they don't, but like let's just assume you thought all of them did. You think that market's big enough for you to survive as a company? Just them? Like, that's insane. Them and everyone on the left. If you just added all of them up and added up all of them who actually drink Bud Light, it's like no one. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it's more
Yeah, and
stupidity.
then on
I'm
top of
more mad
that,
about the fact that they didn't know. Like,
they
that's
said they don't
the
condone
crazier
them.
part.
So then everyone like was like, okay, well then we ditch you too then.
Well,
So now no one likes them.
it should have provided a really important lesson for people who were like super happy, who are anyone who is super happy when companies do this like parading around and grandstanding about social issues. They don't give a fuck. They will go with the fucking wind. So like anytime someone stands up for you on a company level and says like I care about you, it's bullshit. Like you can there is no company stance on these things. They will go wherever the money goes. And like that should have been clear way before this happened, but I don't know. People just really want to believe
It
that
is true.
companies care.
But Disney though, Disney's
Oh.
holding their balls like, man, come get some. You want this? Like, don't
Yeah,
not
and they're
saying
gonna be
gay is
holding their
dumb.
they're gonna hold that ball sack all the way into the toilet because that's exactly what's happening. That's where they're going.
You think
They're the
so? No,
same people. The Bud Light
I think
people
they'll
and the
make it.
Disney family people are all the same people.
Like, what do you mean they're the same people? It's the
The
same company?
No, like the same customers. They have the same type of customers, is what I'm saying. Like they are literally the exact same problem, only Bud Light tried to save themselves in the very worst way, and Disney's saying, "Fuck you, you better come to the park." Like they just don't care. They just don't care at all. I really wonder how long they're gonna hemorrhage money before someone changes the CEO. Like before the board just says, "Nope, this isn't working." Because like they're supposed to lose almost $1 billion this year in movie revenue because everything
I
has
feel like
just been so bad.
so I
that's
don't
nothing compared to like what they make. It's
so
like
I
a
don't
drop in the bucket.
I don't know this stuff well enough, but like
Let me see.
once people like knew that Bud Light was like done and like they saw that happen, like why wouldn't people like decide to short that like position for like this quarter or next
That's
quarter?
interesting.
Why
Who
would people not short it?
Yeah.
I'm
They
assuming
do.
Bud Light is like owned by like such a bigger company that does so much other stuff that even if Bud Light tanks, like it's like a small part of their portfolio. That's what I'm guessing.
Well
Otherwise, that would have been a great idea.
Bud Light does trade on the market. I thought.
I think the
Who
parent company is
owns?
Anheuser-Busch or whatever.
Bud Light stock.
Okay,
Yeah,
Anheuser-Busch.
Anheuser Busch is Bud. Yeah.
Okay, and like let's see what their stock has done.
Last what month, year? So it went from it didn't even go down that far.
Yeah, that's exactly what I figured. Yeah, it like barely went down. Like honestly, this looks exactly like the market. So like yeah, nothing happened. Bud Light is just a small part of
Yeah.
all the different alcohol
The
that but
last
Anheuser-Busch sells.
yeah, the
So yeah,
last
they don't
month
even
it's
give a
only
fuck. There's like,
been
oh, There's like we like trans people. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, we don't like trans people. Oh, you don't like that either? Okay, the company's closed. We don't care.
Yeah.
Like literally, like their stock didn't even move. Like they don't give a fuck.
Oh
Like
my God. Yeah, was it? I don't. Yeah, I just can't. I can't believe that they would do that and know that the brand like disappearing was an option. They just said, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's all
it's
about
like
the money,
whatever.
man.
Like they went back and like after supporting trans people, they went back and said we don't
Yeah, they
support
don't give
trans
a
people, and we
flying
realized
fuck.
what we did was wrong. And so all trans people was like, "What the fuck?" Like they literally had bars that were like switching all like their alcohol over to like Bud Light like products or Bud products and like whatnot. And then like yeah, then they did that like a couple weeks later, and then those same bars was like, okay, now we're removing all that alcohol now. It's like,
That's so
how
dumb.
do you
And
manage
how do you
this?
even run a business like that? Like that's just so fucking stupid. Like every day you're switching fucking providers. Like how do you even function in the real world? Just going around
Right.
like that. It makes no sense.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy.
They should just all the beer companies should just get together and just make one huge master brew. It all just tastes the same and just change the labels.
Yeah, they probably already do that, which is why they
Yeah,
don't
they
care
do.
about Bud Light. They're just like, oh, that's just one of the generic labels we've been using for the past 20 years. They're just like, let's try something. Let's try and support a social issue. Oh, it went terrible. Okay, just shut down the whole company.
Yeah, it's like, ah, okay, change the sign.
Yeah, change the sign. Yeah, change the name of the beer. Like, I'm pretty sure Anheuser-Busch makes like Trump beer and like Biden beer.
Are those real products?
What?
I don't think so. I actually, you know what? They probably are, and they probably do make both of them. Like I literally like would not be surprised if they have beers that are like branded by complete opposite sides or like geared to opposite sides of the political spectrum, and they know it, and they keep it that way on purpose. I bet they do.
I will say, like, financially speaking, there's probably nothing wrong with Bud Light, like as a company, but yeah, their marketing department is nuts. Like that. That is some crazy stuff going
Oh,
on in that
stupid.
building.
Yeah, no coherence there.
I
Not
think
even
people
a
are
little
kind of
bit.
just not really drinking that much anymore in general, at least in the United States.
Yeah, especially like the left because now we have like things to smoke. So like people are
Yeah,
like doing that more often.
aren't you farming now, John? I'm just kidding. I would never like
No, never.
Yeah,
insinuate you would
you
do
could just
something, but it's
grow weed
legal.
in Minnesota now, yeah. You could just throw some seeds in the ground and start just growing it yourself.
That seems like nothing I want to be a part of.
So I haven't followed enough. So what exactly did they legalize? Just growing it, or is it all just?
Everything. Like it's all just legal. It's like a wild like land of freedom. But actually, no, there's probably like I think there's regulations on selling it, but you can completely grow it for yourself and like consume it in any which way you want yourself. But I think selling it, there's like different regulations. You got to get a license. Um, I am pretty sure. And they probably tax the hell out of it, but they're one of the only states. I mean, not every state makes it so you can like grow a plant yourself. Like a lot of the states like looked at it like, okay, we want to make money for this, so we'll make it legal to buy, but in order to grow and sell it, you need a license. But like when I heard they made it legal to grow, and there's like, whatever, just figure out the stores later. Let's just legalize this shit day one. You can start growing your plants now. Like, damn, like okay, all right, Minnesota. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, fascinating. Crazy times.
Yeah, Wisconsin
Uh,
will get there eventually.
nope.
Maybe one day.
I can't
Maybe
even
one
think of
day.
like a historical like analog or equivalent where one state was like completely surrounded by progressive like ideals and then they finally just caved.
Yeah, what is an equivalent to that? I'm not sure. There's, I'm sure like there was probably a state on the border like after or before the Civil War that was like not lined up correctly. But then again, like the border, like the Mason-Dixon line, like that's pretty like straight across America. It's just like the South was just like, yes, we like slaves. And then the North was just like, nah. And that's what happened, I guess. I don't even know. Like,
Speaking of which, totally like off topic, but are you guys watching Big Brother? As in like Bolero and your wife?
yeah, yep, definitely.
So is it true that this guy like completely just said like the N-word and then like
Dude, it makes no sense. He said it so casually. Like you can tell like he wasn't even talking about like any racial subjects. He was just like he wasn't talking about anything where like it warranted the N-word or like that would even make sense if he was a black guy even or if he was not. Like in any context, it just makes no sense to just like throw that word out there. But he was like just like how I would say, "Hey man," like or like "What's up, man?" or something like that or whatever or "dude." Like that's how he threw it
oh
out
my
there.
God, maybe he
He
has
was like
Tourette's. That's
he
his
was an
only
idiot.
that's his only recourse now.
He's like, "Oh, I have Tourette's." It
Oh
was
my-
so awkward. It was really awkward. Like,
So did they like actually like show everyone the moment where it happened or what?
yeah, they did.
Dude, that's
They-
crazy. So his life is over now? Or what?
It's
Because if
funny
they had
because he
like
said it
video.
and there was a black guy in the room and he was kind of talking to the black guy. Like he was talking to the black guy, but then when he said the N-word, he turned to like the other white guy in the room and was like, "Yeah, she just went up in this room." And then he said it like but it was so weird. Like,
Oh, what?
yeah,
So he was
like
like trying to say like as in like camaraderie. He's like, yeah, me and you, man, my
basically, yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. And then he said that he turned to the white guy and said that in front of the black guy that he was also having the conversation with. And the black guy immediately was like, "Whoa." And then the white guy, dude, his face like it just like degraded into disgust. Like he looked absolutely like disgusted and he's like he literally stared at him. He's like that's a bad look and just walked straight away. Like he was not playing at all like and he was
he's
like,
like,
"Oh man."
I'm not part of this.
Yeah, and the guy was like, "Oh," like he immediately realized he made a mistake. He's like, "Well, I was gonna call him something worse, like a Norwal. That's what I was gonna. I was gonna call him a Norwal. Like, what is a Norwal? And like, you're gonna call him something worse. So that means like what you said is bad. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, yeah, and then he immediately turned to the black guy because like he wanted to like get some comfort knowing that like it was okay. And the black guy, being the only black guy in the house, had to play it off like he didn't care about it because like you can't make a big deal out of it. Like especially in that game, like that would put a target on you. But so the show did the right thing and just immediately kicked him out like after that because this same thing happened last season but they didn't kick him out.
Wait, he was on the last season?
No, it was a different white guy. Yeah,
Interesting.
this is
So this
America.
this show just has a problem with people showing up and saying the N-word.
I mean, no, okay. Last season, the guy didn't say the N word on accident. He said he tried to like start a all white alliance, and like that was the premise. Like it wasn't by accident. Like he's like, hey, you guys, you know how last season they started an all black alliance? He's like, this season we should start an all white alliance. He's like, white power, and then like the people
So
he was telling him to like, nah, man, we're not about that, and
do you
like they
think
shot
that's
it down.
fair?
Yeah, I honestly think it's 100% fair because the season before that, they did start an all black alliance. And like that was like a part of the thing. Like they weren't accepting anyone in who or working with anyone who wasn't black.
That's
And
so
there was this
fucking
mixed
stupid.
girl who they weren't working with at first and they were gonna like use as a pawn. But then eventually they realized since like she didn't like get like accepted into the other crowds that there's like, okay, I guess you can be like with us. But then they kicked her out first. Like which I'm just like, wow, like that's so racist. Like that's the most racist thing ever. But I will say, no one, not a single black person, had ever won United States Big Brother after like 22 seasons, up until that season 3 years ago. So like it was kind of, I feel like as a minority, I felt like it was warranted just for that one time. But now that we have a black
Why?
winner, I
Why?
feel like no
Why does it have to
more.
be a
Like,
black winner?
All right, now you can't do it
Why?
anymore.
yeah, no, that's happened once. I don't want to see that ever again.
Ugh.
Like, because it was racist and it was unfair and like,
Oh my God.
but yeah,
Everyone was cheering for it. They're like, yeah.
yeah, everyone was cheering for it. Yep. And the guy from Milwaukee, Wisconsin won. I'm
Did
like,
they call each
hey,
other? Did they call each other the N word?
like my no, no,
Are
they
you
they
sure?
didn't. They never said it during the whole show. They never once said it.
Oh, okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting.
So weird.
It's funny that like every season someone says it and they're like, "Ah, no, right, there's the guy that said it. He got voted off." I
Yeah.
should
So
go
yeah,
bet and do some prop bets for Big Brother. I'm sure that exists, right?
I feel like at this point there should be a bet, like, and it shouldn't be if there's gonna be a racist incident. It should be at what point, at what week will the racist incident come out? This time it was week one. Like literally, he didn't make it. He only was in the house for 4 days, and he just said the N word.
So
Like he just couldn't hold back.
let's say that it's like so all let's say all the white people decided to do that, but it just so happened that they all have like Italian ancestry and they're like, "Okay, we're the Gambino goons. Is it okay now?"
I feel like if they were like an Italian after 22 years has never won Big Brother, I would kind of be okay with it. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I kind of don't get it.
I
Wait,
don't understand. Like, how long does
so
a
like
show have to go without a certain nationality winning before it's not like racist? Like, how many fucking races are you gonna account for? This makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense in the world.
I feel like it has to be somewhat proportional to like the demographic of the United States because it's like they have Big Brother in other countries and it's totally
Oh,
different. So like in the
okay.
United States, like
So wait, let's run the numbers
there,
on that. Let's just run the numbers on that. Do you think that the group in the show should also be proportionate to what the population is?
yeah, I think they
Oh,
should do their best to
okay.
try that. Yeah.
Okay, so you realize like black people are like what, 13% of America? So already proportionally, you're starting with a lesser chance of winning the show than any other group every single season. And those seasons are independent of each other. So like even after 22 seasons, it's not like statistically, it's not unreasonable that a black person didn't win the show.
I mean, after 22, that kind of is statistic because
It's
like
not.
13 only
Based on
goes
the
into
numbers,
100 6 times.
but
So
it's
like they
not
should have
into
won three,
100.
four times over by the
No, it's
time
not
that
into
season.
100. It's into 100 and then times that many seasons. It's into that number. It's even lower than that.
Right. No, it's actually higher. Like
No,
13,
no.
like divide 100 by 13. Like so we can
Wait,
do the
why
math right
why
here.
a why 100? That's just 13%.
Because you said it's 13%, and that's what percent is. It's a percent of 100.
No, no, I understand that piece. I'm saying 0.13 is what was the percentage. Like that's it expressed as a percentage. So it's that percentage times however many um what other contestants there are, or 13% times 22.
No, 13% should statistically represent exactly how often they win Big Brother. If
No,
it's
that's
like
not how that
random.
works. No, no, it's not how that works. You have to times it by how many to see how many you'd expect them to win over the course of a certain amount of seasons. You have to multiply that percentage by the amount of seasons it's happened. Because they don't.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, that multiplication number is over one. I think it's like two
It's
or three.
it's
So they should have won 2 or 3 times by now.
it's not because you're always
Yeah.
multiplying a number
If
that's
you're
under
saying
one. It's
no, watch.
0.33
I'll
times
do it. I'll
22.
do it for you right now. Okay, 100, 13% goes into 100. How many times? 100 divided by
No, it's
13. That's 7.6 times.
that,
So
no, no, no,
after
no, no.
7.6 seasons, they
No,
statistically should have gotten one win.
no, no.
There's been
13.
22 seasons.
No, 13. It's 13% independently every single time. It's not you don't.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not like a
Okay.
bag of
Okay.
people that you
Think about this.
re-pull.
Right. So as there's 13%. So like after statistically, it's just like flipping a coin. You know how there's 50% chance it could land on tails, 50% chance that it wouldn't. So like after
Yeah,
two
but
times, you have the odds that it would land
No,
After two
no,
flips, the odds that it would land
no,
on
because
tails
no, because
eventually
you
are
could
greater.
no, because you could flip a coin and it could be heads 4 times. That doesn't mean that
But
like
the odds that it will be heads again the fifth time is less than each time before it. Like the odds of it being
yes.
heads 20 times in a
Yeah,
row
yeah,
is not as
yes.
good as it
It,
being in just one flip.
yes, yes, but the statistical probability of the fifth one is not based on the four. And you only have a lower percentage if you're starting from the beginning and you're before you've ever flipped anything. Because then you're saying, all right, how many times? Like, what are the chances that it would be 5 times in a row? If on the next time, every single time, just like with Big Brother and just like the coin, you're starting over at 50% every single time. It's those are independent flips. You don't say
Right.
like because of the first four, this one is more likely. That's like at roulette. You're
You
like,
do say that actually.
oh, okay, yeah,
So,
and that's an
it's like
incorrect
it's in
usage
this
of
exact
stats.
scenario. We've actually talked about this before, and like I don't, maybe we've talked about it before. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but like this is like a roulette strategy, or like
It's a
a
bad
thing to
one.
think of when you're playing roulette.
It's an
But
absolutely
like
terrible strategy. That's why it loses. Like imagine seeing black
I'm
five
on that
times and you're just like
strategy.
it must be red on the sixth one.
That's that's a
It
good
might
strategy.
that's a terrible strategy because
It is a good strategy. It's actually so
that's
good
so
that they
bad.
have to have a max bet in order for you to stop that
That's
loophole
that's
because
such
you
a
can just
bad
keep
strategy.
doubling your bet over and over and eventually you will win.
Yeah,
But
but
to stop that, they have to hit a max bet so you don't do it.
the chances of you being
So like
liquid
think about
enough.
this. Think about
Wait,
it.
no, wait. The
So
chances
like
of you being
if
liquid
it
enough to be able
lands
to outlast the casino on that are pretty small. That rule is not in place for the average person. That rule is in place for people who have
in place
gigantic
for
like bank
any
accounts.
statistic.
It's but an
It's a
average
chance for
per
any statistic.
if you're doubling
Okay,
your
so
bet
if
every
it
time, you have to
lands
have an
on
infinite bankroll for that to work.
that's fine.
It's not
But it would
fine. Most
work
people don't have
eventually.
infinite money. You can't.
What does
Most
that have to do with like it happening? It would happen
because
though,
we're
and that's
talking
what we're
about
talking about. We're
no
talking about at what point would it happen,
right.
and
We're
like at
talking
that
about
point
the
it would
chances.
100%
No, we're
happen.
talking eventually, yes, but not necessarily over a certain amount
How
of
could it
times. Just like Big Brother,
exactly?
eventually a
Eventually,
black
yes.
person will win.
That's just
But to say that it has to happen
exactly.
over 22 times, that's ridiculous because you know
Yeah, if you
statistically.
do the math, it should have happened way before the 22 times, just like you
Uh,
said.
yeah,
Like
okay,
if
but
it lands
again,
on, hold on, can you just hear me out? Like if it
oh my
lands
God.
on black 20 times, let's say 100 times in a
Yeah,
row.
sure.
So you don't think you wouldn't like that's crazy. You wouldn't start betting that it's gonna eventually land on red. Like what
I
are the
wouldn't
chances
I
that it
wouldn't bet on
lands?
I personally would never bet on a chance game at a casino to begin with. Like I
So
don't
then
do
like how are you even having this argument if you don't have any real feeling on which way it would go?
why do you have to have a feeling of which way it would
Well,
go
I
in order
guess
to
that
argue
is
the
your feeling is
statistics? All
that it
right,
would
what?
go nowhere. I that doesn't make sense.
This is
Like,
we're not debating feeling. What are you talking about? I have to have a feeling to know what the statistics are. What are you talking about?
well, like if you wouldn't bet either which
I don't have
way,
to be
then like,
vested to talk about what the numbers are. That's insane. That's an insane argument.
well, what that's telling me is that you don't think the numbers are go any which way, but like they
No, I
do.
do think they go a which way, but that doesn't mean that I have because again, I
Well, you're not
understand.
willing to bet on it, so you must not
No,
really believe it. That's
that's
what I
not.
take it
Yeah,
as.
that's ridiculous. Because again, any time, just like any other bet, just like you said, we know eventually that a statistical probability will happen, even if it's minute or small. Eventually, I agree with that. I'm saying that just because you think that it should have happened already, even agreeing with you that the numbers are like on average, it should have. We expect if all things are equal, it will happen this time. The real world doesn't work like that. So just because something doesn't lay out
How does it
statistically, like
not work like that?
because just like in the casino
In what way
example,
does it not work like
because
that?
just like in the casino example, even if we expect there to only be two options, just because it has a 50-50 chance, it doesn't mean that after two chances, after two times, that each will already be represented equally. That doesn't happen. So just like you said, there are
Okay.
times where the statistics don't bore out immediately. Just like in
But
this
they
scenario.
always do, like after time.
Eventually, yes. But your comment in the beginning was it's a racist because the guy hadn't won. Like
Right, because
how have you
the
gotten
amount
there?
of time that it would have happened
So do you
statistically
think
has happened
so do
three
you
times over by
right? So
now.
do you think the casino is statistically cheating you then every time you see black more than you'd expect to see black?
If I saw black 100 times in a row,
That
legit,
you think
I
that's
would
the
be like,
it,
this
you,
is fake. Like,
so
this
but
is
so it's
a
fake.
scam
So it's fake, but you
casino.
would still bet on it. That
No,
makes absolutely
I
no
would
sense.
immediately stop betting on it. I'd be like, this is like
You just
rigged, clearly.
okay? Did I just mishear that? You just got through saying if the numbers are so good in your favor, you would be betting on it instantly, and now you're saying you would think it was fake.
It's in my favor. The
You
strategy is if it's
just said
black.
you just said if it's been
The
black
strategy
multiple
is if
times,
it's
you would
black.
vote.
Hold on, can you let me talk?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
The if it's black multiple times, the bet is that you bet it's red. If I'm betting
Okay.
it's red, it's gonna be red, and it's been black 100 times in a row, then I would stop betting. Like I wouldn't then go change it to
So
black because I would assume that it's already fake, and the moment I do that,
okay, so
it's just
what's
gonna
that
change to
number?
red
What's the
anyways.
number where it switches from you to you are statistically getting a good odds to this is fake? Where does that conversion happen?
I would say honestly, like on a 50-50 game chance, if it landed on black after 25 times, I'd be like, something's wrong here. Like this isn't
So
normal.
is that number just arbitrary? Like that you just say okay 25 times? Like that's the number where
It's
I
not
think it's like rigged.
arbitrary, but
So
it's
how do
like
you decide that?
it's not a black and white like line. It's more like a scale. So like maybe like I wouldn't like think anything's weird probably around like anytime like under 10. Like if it landed on black 10 times in a row, I'd be like, holy shit, that's pretty
Okay,
crazy. But like I don't think that's weird. But if another 10 times, I'd be like, okay, this is getting uncomfortable. Another 10 times after that, I'd be like, what's happening here? I'd be looking around to see if like other people are seeing this. If it got to like 40, 50 times, I'd be like, this is something's wrong with the machine, it's broken. Yeah, I would walk away. I would assume it's not a game of chance anymore and like something's wrong.
okay,
Like
I agree with all of that. I just don't understand. I like generally agree that I would probably be like I would be skeptical of a casino, but again, I'm generally skeptical of casinos just in general. I wouldn't. That's part of the reason I would never be betting on these things. But I don't understand. Like I just asked you, is the scale arbitrary? And you just gave me more seemingly arbitrary numbers. Like, how did you decide on
it
10?
didn't seem that arbitrary. It was like a nice scale like going up by
I
10.
I
Like
understand what it is. I'm asking you how you got to the numbers. I'm not asking you like what it is. I understand that it's a scale going up by 10. How did you decide that 10 was the right number?
I think just probably from experience, like I've seen it hit like maybe 12. The most I've seen it hit the same color in a row playing roulette was like 12 times. And at
Okay.
that point, like everyone was looking at each other like, holy shit, dude, like what is happening? There's like bet with like never bet against the table, never bet against it. And like some people are doing it and some people are betting against it. And yeah, usually once it
Okay.
gets like over 10, everyone at the table is looking at each other like, holy shit, this is getting crazy.
So you're saying
So if it were to
the
get
stats
like
are based on
30,
on what your experience has been so far, not necessarily on what the statistical probabilities are. That's what that sounds like to me.
the statistical probability is exactly what I've experienced. I mean, I spent a lot of time playing roulette. Like it's statistically improbable to flip a coin and get it to land on the same side over 15 times. Like that's pretty
Yeah,
that makes
I
sense,
agree.
right?
Yep, I agree with that.
So yeah,
But
that's what my
but
stats
it's
are based
but
off
it's
of.
also it's also even more unlikely to see it happen like 50 times and less likely to see it happen, 7 times. Again, I agree with all of that you just said. My question is like how you personally say like one is statistically okay for me to be involved in and the other one is like statistically I should not be involved in. That's the part I don't
I don't.
get.
So what don't you understand about it, I guess?
I
Like
don't know how you're deciding. Because again, if
like
every single additional chance it provides more of an opportunity for this to be a cheat, how are you deciding on the marker to say like this is a cheat? Because that would help me get to how you're deciding this is racist. That's what I was trying to get to with you, and it seems arbitrary the same way it seems arbitrary in the casino examples. Every time I ask you to like define why 10, like how is it that 15 makes you feel funny, but 7 is like oh I'll still sit at the table. It
yeah,
seems like
it's definitely
you just sort
based
of
off of
feel it
what
out.
I've seen
Okay.
happen.
All right.
Like, because the most
That's
I remember the
okay.
most I've ever seen at a roulette table hit the same time was like 12 or 13 times.
Okay.
And like it filled up the whole screen. I was like, what the heck? And I was like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And like I have never seen that like I've seen that maybe 3 times of all the time I've been playing roulette. I've seen it get around, yeah, maybe just under 15 times, hit either like the same thing odd every time or like
Hmm.
basically it hits a 50% chance on one side every time. So like if I know that from experience and like I've seen that with my own eyes after spending hours at a table, then I know like that's about like as weird as things get. Like, so if it were to happen for, I guess, my decision then, so if I double that, if I already think that's like improbable to hit 13 times,
Hmm.
if I double that, I feel like I can tell myself comfortably that like that's not normal. Like, this is weird. This does not happen. Like, if it did happen, like, yeah. So then, like, that's my scale. So then, like, if that were to happen, like, triple that, then, like, my uncomfort level goes up accordingly. Like, then I'm even
Okay.
more uncomfortable. So it's
It's
like, it's
like
a scale. Like,
okay.
depending on how much it happens, I feel more and more uncomfortable about it,
Yeah, I was just
essentially.
trying to figure out at what point you're like, okay, I'm getting up from the table because the system's rigged. Like that's what I was trying to figure out. And
So
I
that's
don't.
like how it was in Big Brother. Like, it's been 22 seasons. Like, statistically, it should have landed on a black person
Uh-huh.
around season 7 or 8, but like it had been 22 and like
Do
it
you
just hasn't happened. So that's why people were like, all right,
well do you
it's okay for it to happen.
do you feel like did you feel like that? Like did you feel like that was racist from the show or from like the contestants?
I felt like it was racist that a black person hasn't won because I've seen the seasons and like some racist things have been happening to make it so the black people don't win. Absolutely. And then I
Okay.
also felt when all the black people got together and made an all black alliance,
Uh-huh.
even while it was happening, I felt like it was racist, but I felt like they deserved it. Like I felt like they
So
got a
okay.
pass for that.
Wait, so you feel like it was okay for a completely different set of black people who were not involved in any of the racist things that happened in the previous seasons to be racist against people who also weren't involved in any of the things from the previous seasons. So you think
Just that one time.
those white people should pay for the sins of all the other white people?
Yeah,
That sounds
that
like
one
that
time.
sounds like
Yeah.
reparations to me.
Yeah, that's a small form of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I feel like that's about as much as I would
Yeah,
agree to.
I
Like, I don't
certainly
want
don't
anything more than
I
that.
certainly don't subscribe to that mentality. I think that's a dangerous line to be walking. But you know, it's to each their own.
I mean, it's not too bad. It's only a one-time rule. So if it happens once, it's not supposed to be allowed ever again. So like,
Yeah,
really,
I'm
like
sure
they already got the black president,
I'm
so
sure
like they
many
can't
fresh
use it for that
dictators said that to
anymore.
themselves too. Just this one time, it'll be okay, and then everything will be better.
Yeah, I guess America's never had a black dictator, and honestly, that might be coming. I mean, that might
Yeah,
be a thing.
yeah, maybe.
And they might use that too. Like, hey, look at this black guy. You can trust him. He's black.
Uh, that just feels
But no, he's a
that feels like
dictator.
retaliation. That doesn't feel like equality or equity to me. Like I think that's the part
Yeah.
that upsets me about it. It's not necessarily that like I would want a black person to win too, but I'd rather as a black person myself, I would rather do that on merit than on like the fact that we're all black. Like that feels like that feels like in order for me to win, I have to circumvent like the obstacles that I feel like are invisibly against me. And then if that's the case, why am I participating? This just doesn't feel like something I want to win.
I feel like I think in this show there have been like so many like all white alliances or like times where like all the white people get together and just kick out the black people right away. And like there's been so many times where
Isn't that
like
to be
we
expected
as
though?
like
Like, don't we
America are
do
like
that?
trying to like root for the black people. It's like, okay, maybe the black people will like, get a chance this time. And like this was the one time where like all the black people were it's like enough is enough. Like let's just actually just like stick together and not stab
And
each other in the back this time and just win.
how
And then they
many?
just did it.
Can I ask you how many of them there were? How many black
Yeah.
people?
6.
So just in that representation of them on the show that season, they were already outnumbering the population. Like
Yeah.
you were already taking steps to not even correct, but literally like trounce the white people. Like this wasn't equity. Like can we just be
No.
real? They felt bad about the other things that had happened on the other seasons. Clearly, they cast some more black people to make everyone feel better, and they stomped the white people in the dust. I really hope the
Yep.
white people got paid for that. That's insane. That's crazy because
I feel
I
bad
would
for the white
definitely
people
not
actually.
participate. That's insane.
So
That's
you,
funny.
This is a
so bro,
crazy show.
you kind of vote like in line with the Supreme Court. Like you're like, all right, there's been enough affirmative action. Now we're done. We can get rid of it.
Is that how they do it? I guess so, yeah.
It's
Like
like a
Yeah,
swinging
I
they just
think
got
there's
rid
pendulum.
of
like
it.
It's like a
there
swinging
is an
pendulum.
amount.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they should be getting infinite affirmative action and all that stuff. But I don't think they should like it should just be ignored and swept under the rug like nothing ever happened. Like I
And
don't think
John,
that's like healthy either.
John, you think like if a people are oppressed for like centuries and centuries, you think they shouldn't get any kind of
I
like
I
help
do.
or like
No, I do, and
handicap?
we've talked about this, but I think the form of help they should get is through education. It's not through gold stars and trophies. Like that's not helpful. That's not helping you develop anything. And I'm not saying Big Brother you need to develop like it's a game show. I get that. But I'm just saying like in terms of things like affirmative action, you being granted a job you're not qualified for is not helpful. Now, if you are equally qualified and then like I like might like your personality better, okay, whatever. Like that's fine. I understand that. But like in most of the cases, that's was not happening. It was literally like quotas we're trying to stop now because like we've gone so far to the other side of the pendulum. So yeah, I do think people who are oppressed should get something, but it's not in the form of handouts. Like that is not going to help you survive because once you go through that, you'll be in the exact same position you were in before. If the pandemic taught us anything, it should have taught us that with all the fucking free money.
So, I mean, I feel like Bolero was trying to teach that 10 times without black, something wrong with that.
Yeah, man.
Jesus
10
Christ.
times without black. Yeah, there's something wrong with that. Yeah, that's right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and in Big Brother's case, it was 22, 22 times. We were like, okay, we got to do something about this. And they're just like, let's just be racist. And like, everyone did it.
I wonder if any other nationalities that ever been on that show feel that way.
I think
I can't
so.
remember
Yeah.
last time
How many
when
of
did
them
a
won?
like Latina ever win or a Latino?
Yeah, I don't know.
Josh, he was the most obnoxious person and the most annoying person I've ever seen. And then actually, there's been a couple Latinos. Yeah, Josh, and then Casey, like the like, let's go, girl,
Have
and
the Asians won it yet?
yeah. No, not since I've been watching.
Yeah,
No.
you won't ever hear from them complaining about that.
Oh
They're all in the corner trying to figure out why they didn't win. Like,
man,
because it's
You
so
spoke
it's
to them?
funny.
dishonorable. Yeah, man, I talk to them
You
all the
heard from
time.
the contingency. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, I got the temporary. I got the temporary card.
Oh, that's wild.
It's only good for like holidays and weekends. That's it.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
never see them
that's all you needed to
complaining.
hear.
Yeah, man.
That's funny. Yeah, the Asian kids at my high school, I feel like they didn't really like talk to like other people, it seemed like they were just fine like talking to themselves and like that was it. And I don't feel like anyone was like being racist or anything toward them, but like that's just how they preferred it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just the
if the most
cultural
atrocious
differences.
weapon in all time was dropped on me, I'd keep to myself too.
Yeah, I saw this
Not to say they were
Japanese
all
article.
Japanese.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, still, I saw this Japanese article that said Barbenheimer is an epitome of American nuclear ignorance, and I was just like laughing at that title, like because they didn't say Oppenheimer, like they said Barbenheimer, like it's Barbie, like how everyone's just obsessed with Barbie and Oppenheimer at the same time. It's like, oh my God, it's so cool. It's like, yeah, but like everyone loved it because yeah, we are kind of forgetting about how like devastating that power of the nuclear bomb is, and it is a nice reminder.
Yeah. Did you see it yet?
Yeah, I saw the first three quarters of it, and then I had to leave the theater uh like for like an emergency or what I thought was an emergency, but then once I left the theater I realized it wasn't an emergency, but it was too late. Like once you leave you can't get back in, so like I was like, ah, fuck, like whatever.
Three
It's like
fourths
I
of
left.
like pretty much all of it. You saw like
Okay.
the important stuff.
Okay. Did they show like any of the trial in the movie? Like the end of the trial? Like
Hmm.
they did. Okay. Because like yeah, they were showing like parts of it, but then I didn't know if like they were gonna finish it off. So that's probably just what I like didn't see like the ending of his trial and but like I know how it ends because like I know history. So like yeah.
Right. So if you guys had to lose like one of your like senses, like that helps you like orient yourself in reality. So we're talking about the traditional sight, touch, sound, taste, hear, all that stuff. Which one would you like least want to like get rid of?
Mm. Sight. Yeah, I don't want to be blind. I need to see things at least. Yeah.
Probably touch.
Oh,
Yeah, probably just touch. Yeah, I just feel like you
okay.
can't really orient yourself in the world at all. Like if you don't feel anything, like how would you relate to your hands or your feet touching the ground? Like you wouldn't be able to walk without feeling any sensation.
Yeah, definitely not. Or what
Yeah,
about smell?
I
Can
think
I knock that one off? Like that's an easy one to lose.
no,
No, he's
asking
asking
which one you want to
opposite.
keep.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sight. I'm keeping sight.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would go with that too. Although I would be like pretty devastated to lose hearing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'd probably go with sight too. So with that in mind, which game are you guys betting your sight or touch on? Like one round, one hand, one whatever. Now that we've had this game theory talk.
Like like what do you mean? Like can I choose any game? Like we're making a bet like if I win the game then I get to keep or lose it or something?
Yeah. Like anything. Anything that has like a win or loss state at the end of it.
I guess I would just do a game of Rocket League then and hope that person's not better than me. Or is there any unfair games where I could just exploit it and just like make sure that I win?
Yeah, is this something I'm doing? It's just a randomly selected average American, or
Uh, it's
Yeah,
against
I would
someone.
run for president.
I
That's what
think
I would
I
do.
think it means it depends on what my opponent
And if I
is.
win, then like I would have to. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I would say your opponent is just a average AI amalgamation of every player of that game or activity. Just
Yeah.
captain average.
All right. Then yeah,
Yeah,
I guess Rocket League or something like that.
can I choose to run as like a local alderman? And if I win, then I win, and if I lose, I lose. Okay, that's a good one. I feel like that's like the
Yeah.
most easily riggable situation.
What is that even? Like I'm not gonna I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no idea what an alderman does.
I don't either, honestly. Like truly, I don't know. But we all have them. Like there's just like some neighborhood like captain. Like what do they
Is that
do?
what it
I don't
is?
know. Basically, like I know like if you're like having a problem with like some sort of like city service, you can get things done faster if you call your alderman because like people care about like I don't know what he has to say about it. He'd be like, "Oh, that pothole's not getting filled. Call up your local alderman and he'll make it
So
happen."
so like for the people out in Maui and their whole town just burned to the ground, do I call my alderman or what?
Dude, if like the alderman of that town, like, what are you supposed to do about that? Like, what?
I want
Like,
to know. Like if that's your job, then like what do you like what do you how do you succeed in that role?
like you should probably call the mayor and be like, yeah, my entire neighborhood and district got burned down, so it doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, like,
Interesting. Okay, so like all these local government positions are basically just like you are the babysitter for this like part of like the town. It just gets smaller and smaller.
yeah, I guess so. I think alderman's like the smallest.
That's like a block, like a town block.
I think it's like maybe like 5 or 6 or even like up to 10 blocks. Well, maybe
So
like some blocks are like huge, but like I don't know, like because like I know like the alderman and like I know like the East Side neighborhood. Like does the Upper East Side? I'm pretty sure it's got like 2 or 3 alderman districts in there, just in the Upper East Side. So like yeah,
yeah,
if you
that sounds
divide
right,
that like divide by 3, then
dude.
that's what it does. I'm gonna look up what an alderman does right now.
You know
I
how
kind
I
of want to know
know?
too.
You know how I know I'm elderly? I just had the thought that I should go talk to my alderman, like, and really like was considering it.
You're like, I've got some ideas to bring up to my aldermen.
I just want to know who they are. I'm just like curious, like, oh, okay, well, I don't even know what you do, and like I'm like kind of paying for it. So I feel like I should go give that person a what's for, a good old A1 letter, nice old memo.
Alderman assists residents with issues, concerns like related to local government services. So basically, all they do,
They're a babysitter.
so they do vote on like city like laws and stuff. Um, so yeah, all the aldermans in the city will get together and vote on something, and like the alderman you pick is representing you in your neighborhood. So
Hmm. Maybe that's not a bad idea. How can we rig this thing?
right, exactly. And it's just a neighborhood. Like I can rig a neighborhood election. Like I'm pretty sure if like my life came down to it, I can pull it off. And like no one knew that that's what I was trying to do like already, then yeah, I could probably pull it off.
Man, we're actually adults. Like we're talking about real like big time like corrupt like coerce the like state of society shit. And I'm sure this is what people do all the time. They're like, "Hey, like I know you have like a 200 grand just sitting in the bank. Why don't you buy this property over here and then we'll get six of our other buddies to do it." And then it's like, "Okay, well, we're most of the block. Let's all vote for Bob for alderman." All right, cool. No, he's
Yeah,
got
that's
the
true.
position and he's on the inside. Let's get what we want.
That's definitely true. Yeah, I mean like I don't, yeah, I don't see how that couldn't happen. It probably does happen, honestly. Like, wouldn't that be a good idea? Like, if all of us had enough money to like buy a house somewhere, it would kind of be like a good idea to all buy one in the same neighborhood. And then, like, yeah, like out of everyone who actually does bother to even vote for alderman, like you already now hold like a significant like portion of that. So at the very
Yeah, there's
least,
totally a word for this, isn't there?
is that even cheating? Like, if you just move into the neighborhood, is that cheating?
It's not, but something feels like not right or ethical about it. Probably
Yeah,
because you have to like buy the properties. If it was like equally available to everyone, then I'd say like, oh yeah, then that's fair. It's a fair like play.
yeah, that's true. And not everyone can just buy a property wherever they want. Yeah, which is why we don't do that.
Interesting. Okay. So you guys as homeowners, do you feel like you have more of a say in like your local like going ons and like government?
I
Uh,
feel like they care about us more, but I don't feel like I have like any more of a say. Like I feel like whenever something bad in the economy happens, like they always like help homeowners and stuff.
Are
It's
you
like,
guys
oh,
like
well,
are you in an association? Is that a real thing, a homeowners
oh God,
association? Or
they
is that
sound
just
like
a
a nightmare.
they
Yeah,
throw
they're
around?
real, and I would never join one. My parents are technically in one now, or they just moved, but I don't know like what to what extent it is. Apparently, they can like force you to sell your home
Dang.
and take your home away from you, and there's just like nothing you can do. Like it's like worse than the government, from what I
That
hear.
is
But
government, isn't it? That's like the most micro of micro government.
I guess so, yeah. In like within an alderman's district, there could be multiple homeowners associations. God, what a nightmare. I would hate that. Like,
Yeah, could you imagine? Like to know you're that many layers deep in a box.
terrible.
You're basically not even living your own life anymore.
Yeah,
Like hardly.
you're just owned by someone else. Yeah, you can't even like hang up like a certain flag like in your like in some of those homeowners association like areas. Like if you don't take that down within 20 days, you'll be forcefully evicted. Like what? For my own house that I bought? Like damn.
I can see the appeal to some people because I guess it all depends on how strict it is. Like if you don't care about any of that stuff, then and you really don't want to do any of the like the labor, then I can see why someone would sign up for that. You're basically just paying for the labor and keeping to
Right.
yourself. Like so.
Yeah, they're not all that bad, but yeah, I've heard of some terrible ones.
Like I could do the flag thing. Like that wouldn't even bother me. I don't hang
No,
flags
you
anyway.
can't.
Like I don't give a fuck.
That's funny.
It
Yeah,
seems
I've
like
heard of some of them doing certain things, like even like in the window, like you can't have like certain things hanging in the window. It's just like, what
I
the fuck,
I, I don't
dude?
I don't want to hang anything in the window. Like that's all right with me.
So you'd be perfect to go move into a homeowners association.
Yeah, I
You'd
just
be like,
don't.
I don't want to do anything crazy. I just want to
Yeah.
sit here and live in this house.
Yeah, but then I would have to like pay them for that, and that doing that labor isn't worth that level of service for me to live close to other people either. So
And that's another thing. Apparently, if you don't like take care of your house good enough, like the homeowners association are really gonna be on you about that. Like, your house has to be like in a
oh,
lot of them, like on the West
some of them
Coast, your house
do it
has
for
to
you, don't
be.
they?
Yeah, some of them do,
Okay.
which would be nice because then you don't have to worry about it. But then some of them, like, they can force you to like change your house color, and if you don't like abide by that within a certain amount of time, like they could just take your house away from you. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
don't see
gets
the point
crazy.
in it being in one that doesn't take care of the house, like the outer part of the house for you. Like the only thing I can see then is like if they're super upscale and they have like crazy facilities like tennis courts and pools and all that shit. But then if
Yeah,
you're
that's how
that
my
level,
parents is.
if you can afford that, then why not just like take care of the house yourself? Like yeah, unless you're older, like then I guess you just really don't want to do. No, because if that's the case, wait, your parents have to do it. They only paying for the amenities and they have to take care of the house themselves still.
I don't
Yeah,
think the association costs as much, and I can't imagine their homeowners association doing all the stuff I'm talking about because like it's pretty minimal. I think they have like a tennis court and a pool in their neighborhood.
yeah,
That's what they pay for, the upkeep
that's
of that.
oh, like okay. Well, maybe the fee is really small, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
it's
yeah, it
not much.
doesn't seem worth it for the extra
But
stuff.
in some of the neighborhoods on the West Coast, like where they all look exactly the same, like all the houses and stuff, it gets pretty bad over there from what I've heard. I would never. Like, no. It's just there's like the city and like the state can already tell you to like do certain things with your house. Like, I'm not trying to have like another government on top of like all that government also telling me even more things to do. Like, oh yeah, just like you said, you're so many layers deep into like all these tiny municipalities that like you have no rights anymore.
that'd be a good like place for like a struggling actor to go, because all you're doing is like you're an extra in that little neighborhood, and if you play your role like perfectly, then like good things will happen for you.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. That's funny. Dude, speaking of neighborhoods and stuff, I wanted to tell you guys about the two chipmunk incidents that I've had.
Okay.
So like it's just like so random. I wanted to save this story for the podcast because I'm just like I've never seen this happen before. But like the other day, I think it was like on Sunday, uh we had we were like in the basement. We had the cats like outside, like in the backyard, which is all fenced in. And like we have like these like block basement windows where you can't like see clearly out of them, but like light comes through and that's like about it. And like there's like a little like underground like I don't know what you would call it, like a
Oh well.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well.
So like you can like it's like a foot under the ground, like right next to the house. I guess it's like the water drains through or something, so the water doesn't come through the window. So like we're down in the basement, we got the cats outside, and suddenly like I see like this like gray because like one of my cats is gray, so like I see this like gray figure on the other side of the window, like just like moving around, and like I can hear like what I'm pretty sure is like a chipmunk or something. So like apparently like Cicely like cornered a chipmunk into this like window well thing, and like there's leaves like on the floor of the window well, so you can't see like the like what's under there. So like she's like pouncing in the leaves, like trying to like get this thing, and it's like, oh crap, like she's like attacking a chipmunk right now. Like so I like go run upstairs. And then I grab her immediately, and I was like, Cicely, like, no, like, let the chipmunk go. And like, she wasn't like stopping when I was like saying anything. So I like literally I grab her and pick her up, and she doesn't have the chipmunk. She's still like trying to pounce at it. But the moment I pick her up, she's like, "Oh, okay, like I'm getting picked up. Like let me quick grab this chipmunk real quick before like I get taken out of here." Like as if she was just gonna like I was gonna let her take it with her. So like as I was picking her up, she literally has the chipmunk like in her mouth, like by its tail. And then like I'm just like, oh my God, like now she's like probably killed this chipmunk or something. But then like I'm still holding her and like I was gonna bring her like closer to the house so I can get her inside. But then like this chipmunk is like literally looking up at me and like he's just looking at me like his face was just like, can you please like not hurt me, like please? Like he was just like, don't do anything. Like he was completely still. It wasn't freaking out or anything. It was just like being held by the tail by my cat Cicely while I'm holding her. So it's like, oh crap, like there's like a live chipmunk in her mouth right now. So I'm like, okay, Cicely, like drop her, drop it. So like she drops it and then like I kind of put her like closer to the ground and like the chipmunk then just plops to the ground. And it like plays dead for like maybe like 3 more seconds until it realizes that like no one's gonna like touch it because I'm like holding Cicely back and then like it just sprints off. So it's like, okay, that was crazy. Like I just stopped her from, I don't know, probably killing this chipmunk or at least hurting it or just messing with it at the very least. So that's chipmunk incident number one. And like Cookie was like, she saw the whole thing. Like, she's like, and Cookie's never, no one's caught a chipmunk before. They've each caught like a mouse. Like, I think Cookie's caught like maybe 2 or 3 mice at this point, and Cicely's only caught like one. But like Cookie was watching this whole thing, and she's like, "Holy crap!" Like her face was like, "Holy shit!" Like, did you just see that? Like, she actually caught a chipmunk. So the next day, like we let the cats out again. Like I do like a sweep of the yard, make sure there's no chipmunks just like running around already, and hopefully they just like stay out of the yard when they see my cats or something. And everything's fine. So like we got them out there for a while, and then suddenly we hear Cookie like come in, and like we can hear like going down to the basement because like they can come in and out of the house like when I'm letting them out like freely. And then like when she gets down there, she like just meows like really loudly. And she usually only does that when she's like carrying something. Like usually like a toy. If she's like carrying a toy, she'll like meow really loudly. And like immediately, like we just had this chipmunk incident yesterday. And we've had like a mouse incident like before where Cookie brought like a dead mouse to the porch or whatever. Like not too long ago, even like a couple weeks ago. So we're just like, oh crap, like did she just bring another dead mouse in here? Like, so like I go downstairs like stripy fur ball in her mouth, and then she just plops it on the ground. And then she just looks up at me like, yeah, check this out. Like I got a she's like, look what I got. I was like, holy shit, like she got a fucking chipmunk, like another one. I was like, oh my God. And it wasn't moving, and I didn't even think to look at it from before, like last time how it like played dead. I didn't even think about that. Like I was like, she killed the chipmunk. She literally carried it all the way like inside and then downstairs and just like plopped it on the basement floor. And then like I walked away to like go get like a towel to like pick it up with or something. And then as soon as I turned around, I could just hear like it like scatter away, and then like it's making its little like chipmunk noises. I was like, oh my God,
Oh
like
my
it was
god.
fucking alive, and like Cookie's like chasing it, like trying to like get it back. She's like, oh shit, like it was alive, and then like by this time Cicely comes down, and like they're both trying to like get in, like Lorraine is down here too, and we're all trying to get in. Finally, I just like we put the cats like in like away behind a door, and then I get I corner it and then like get it to run into like this box like by like just making it so like it had no other option to run except for in the box. And then I covered the hole to the box and then carried the box outside and then let the chipmunk out. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny that like literally the next day Cookie like made sure that she found a chipmunk. Like that's never happened before. And then like the moment Cicely gets a chipmunk, Cookie like goes and finds one, like and brings it all the way in the house. And then like it was 100% okay. Like she didn't like there was no like wounds on it, like it wasn't limping, there was nothing wrong with it. Like it was a 100% live and okay chipmunk. I don't know how she caught it. Like how do you catch a 100% okay chipmunk? Like
Yeah,
I
and it was just like chill with it. Like both times these chipmunks just like were like, all right, I'm just gonna like see what happens here until
yeah, he
until
didn't
I
do
can do my
anything.
thing again.
Yeah, they played dead. Yep. They just played dead until like literally it didn't make a noise. It wasn't like moving around in her mouth. Like I saw it in her mouth. I was like, "Oh, she's got a freaking chipmunk." And then she plopped it on the ground and it was just laying there like in a ball. Like it looked dead. It wasn't moving at all. I'm just like, "Oh, great." And like Cookie even thought it was dead. She was just like looking around. And then yeah, it just fucking runs away. And now I've got a fucking live chipmunk in my basement. Like
That's yeah, I would probably just leave.
Like I considered that. I was like, should we just go get a hotel at this point? Like, how am I possibly gonna get this out? And then
Yeah.
yeah, that was not fun. Like we were like we had to pick everything up off the floors so it wouldn't like run under. So oh yeah, it was a
Oh my
nightmare.
God.
I'm like, all
That's
right.
yeah, that's
I was like,
that's too
no
much.
more bringing live animals in the house or any animals for that matter. I was just like
That's
of
wild
course.
that they were in competition. Like like
Yeah, that can't
over
be a coincidence.
yeah, definitely not. They must they must think that there's heat on for least valuable member in the household.
Probably. And Cookie's traditionally been the one who always gets all the catch. She's the first one to catch a mouse. She's caught the most mouses. She always catches the bugs that are in the house. Like, so when she saw that Cicely caught a whole entire chipmunk, she was probably like, "No, you fucking didn't."
Wait, so does Cookie take care of like centipedes?
Yeah, she'll catch any bug. She loves it. Like,
Damn.
it's
Dude,
nice.
that's pretty good.
It's really nice. Yeah. I give her treats every time she finds one and like brings it to my attention. And like she's realized that for sure. And like whenever she finds a bug, she like runs right to the kitchen afterwards. She's like, "You see that, right? Okay, perfect." Like as soon as I make eye contact with the bug, she's like, "Perfect. He knows the bug is there. I'll meet you in the kitchen, waiting for my treats." So like yeah, she knows it's like her job. But I could never get that to work with Sicily. Like
Desi doesn't catch shit.
I yeah, yeah. It's neither does Cicely. Cicely doesn't catch any. She will. She's caught a mouse, and now she's caught that chipmunk. But like bugs, I've seen her like maybe swat at flies, but like, no, she's just like Cookie will literally like scan the house every night, multiple times a day for bugs. Like Cicely doesn't do that.
That's great. I've never heard of like that being something like cats were good for.
Yeah, same. But Cookie, she's a different breed. She also tosses socks up in the air for fun. Like literally throws them up. Like I've never seen a cat do anything like that before. But I've got it on video as like proof and everything. But like yeah, it's very
She's
she's a
she's
different one.
practicing how to like yoink those chipmunks out of the air.
Yeah. Yeah, some chipmunk tossing. It's funny, right after she caught that chipmunk, she did go. We heard her downstairs in the basement yelling again, and we were just like, "Oh fuck!" Like, did she bring like another chipmunk in there that we just never found and didn't notice? But it was her usual. And usually when we hear her doing that, she's like carrying like a sock. Like she'll go into the laundry room and like find like socks that are like tucked away and like just bring them out like to the open and just like plop them like right there. And she'll like do her meowing thing. And that's what she did with the chipmunk. So we were hoping it was just gonna be a toy or like a sock in her mouth at worst, but like nope, live chipmunk, completely 100% healthy, not injured, live chipmunk.
All right, so you guys heard it here first. If you need a breed of cat that's proficient at killing indoor insects and catching outdoor vermin and rodents, Valero has the DNA strain for you. How much is it going
Yeah,
for?
that's a good point. She is a good hunter. Like that is, I feel like that's her life's calling. That's interesting. Yeah, you're right. I'll have to come get back to you on a price with that. And yeah, like Supreme Hunter. That would be pretty good. Like a
Yeah,
Supreme Hunter cat DNA. Like if you want one, you can just like get your own cat right now. That'll do it.
yeah. All it takes is one hair, one whisker.
But you know what's funny is like she's like pretty overweight. Like I don't like how do you catch a live chipmunk? Well, yeah, I still to this day don't know how it happened. Like for Sicily, like I could hear the chipmunk from inside, so like I could hear the process of how she caught it. For Cookie, it was just silent. It was completely silent outside, and then suddenly she brought in a completely live chipmunk. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll start the bidding at let's say $100 per DNA sample.
That's like nothing.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
not bad. You're right. Well, let's go 500.
now you're talking.
There we go.
All right, well, unless do you have any outdoor nature stories to share, John?
No, not this week.
All right. The rabbits over there are being good.
Yep, all is well.
Have
All
they all
right.
been murdered yet?
Nope, they're pretty crafty.
That's good. That's good.
All right, well, I think we'll leave it there for this week. Another 2 weeks again until you'll hear from us, and then yeah, we're almost to September, so the end of the summer season is upon us. So yeah,
So
thanks
so
for
quick.
yeah, thanks for sticking with us, and yeah, I guess we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys, for another good episode.
See ya.
Bye.
Oh.